The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lynn, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Halchanski, Mrs. Vanderwater.
Here.
Ms. Lesniak, Mr. Tupper.
Here.
Mr. Dudzinski.
Here.
Ms. Saban.
Here. Okay. Can I get a motion regarding approval of the meeting minutes from the April 20th, 22 meeting, please?
Moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Changes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll go out of regular meeting and recess the regular meeting and go into public hearing for the 5-year community development application. Can I get a motion to that?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're in public hearing mode. This is the town's application to the county community development office. We do this annually. We present a 5-year comprehensive plan as to what we'd like to see the county help us fund. In these areas, these projects have to be for economically disadvantaged locations. So for the application that we're submitting, we will submit this year if it's approved. It will be for the 2022, would be for the Birchwood Boulevard drainage improvements. For 23, Lower Seneca Knolls drainage and pavement rehabilitation. 24, Lower Seneca Knolls drainage and pavement rehabilitation phase 2. In 25, phase 3 of the Lower Seneca Knolls drainage and pavement. And for 26, Tappan Street Road sidewalk. And 27, we're requesting Snowdale Park Pavilion. Doug, did you want to speak at all to the drainage or the Birchwood drainage or any of the other?
Well, specifically, I guess, just for the 22 application, this is something that we, the town started a little bit of work on last fall, and it was dramatically increased flow, and the town engineers come up with a project for the, partially with us, partially with the vendor, that'll, in addition to this, will help out one of our singular largest problem areas we have left. We have another one, a smaller one over in Harbor Heights, but this is by far the singular largest drainage problem we have left in the town to address. And this combined with what the plan has come up with, and the work we can hopefully get done this year should really, really drastically benefit that area that's continually suffering in high flow events.
This project really takes the drainage for almost 2/3 of Village Green, and it's clogged right up with brush and sediment and everything else. And when we get heavy storm events, this ditch can't take the drainage, and it floods Brassy, Idlewood, Birchwood, Softwind Circle, quite an area. It's fairly low lying. So hopefully, the work that needs to be done down there is beyond the equipment capabilities of what the highway department has. So this is an important project for the town. I would recommend that as this year's development project.
Anybody from the public would like to speak in favor of this proposal?
Just a quick question, the sidewalk on Tappan Street, whereabouts is that?
It's west of Comstock, easterly to the village line.
But that's down for 26, that would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of contingent on development of the property in that area.
Yeah.
That's
What side of the road is that?
to be determined.
Okay.
There's a mountain step on the south side that's, it's gonna be difficult to decide whether to buy the south side and all fields. So there'll be some planning involved in that, and how that's actually planned. That's why it's probably on the list.
Just curious.
Well, and the
Anybody?
village portion has sidewalks now, so it would just come up to,
Oh, we go to the village line.
right,
There may be a little disconnect there.
There's a short disconnect, I believe they end at Folly Drive.
So we'd have to learn from the village, I think. Similar to what we did on Maple Road.
Right.
In front of,
Right.
Evans Wire now.
And just so everyone is aware, for the Birchwood drainage project, we're anticipating the community development funds to be around 50,000, is that correct? And then we contribute 25%? Mm-hmm. Okay, just so everyone's aware.
Anybody else in the audience want to speak in favor of it? Anybody want to speak against it? Okay, no participation from the audience, okay. Get a motion to recess the public hearing and go back into regular session.
Moved.
Second.
Okay. We're back in regular session now. Second item is to vote on the community development plan as presented. Any further comments or questions by the board?
So I just have one question. So this is a 5-year plan. We're not held to this, right? So if in 24 something else major comes up that we want to, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is
We
just
probably
kind of
can't
a
look out 3
preliminary.
years.
That's right.
Okay.
The map
Or a
changes.
disaster happens, right, Howard? Yeah, or a disaster pops
Will
up.
always become eligible.
Right.
And this is just a living document, basically.
So I would make a motion to approve the community development plan as written.
I will second it.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I am really excited about what you've put together, Jason, because like Doug said, that the Birchwood is a huge part of what's happening in Village Green now. So it'll be nice to have that issue addressed, and hopefully that will remedy what's going on there.
And hopefully the community development committee feels the same way.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yep. Okay. Number 3 is the appointment of Zachary Timmons as a part-time summer help at the Buildings and Grounds Department from May 16th through August 22nd. This is at a rate of $15 per hour. Can I get a motion for that?
And he's full-time,
He's 35 hours a week, yes.
35 hours
Yeah,
a
but
week.
it's a temporary
It's a
part-time.
seasonal position. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 4, the appointment of Mike Knowlton as a temporary fire inspector effective from May 16th through September 15th this year, and to add him to the roster of positions. Mike would be paid at a rate of $24 an hour. Can I-
I'll move.
And so how many hours a week is he?
Max of 20 hours a week?
Max of 20. And is that budgeted in Casey's?
No, this is not budgeted in Casey's line. In the budget process last year, it was initially entered, it was taken out, and the money for this project is being spent from monies saved in health insurance from the month of March and April. So it's monies that were already budgeted, so it's not an expense over and above.
You need a second on that? I'll second.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, we're happy to have Ruth Troy here tonight to give us an annual update on Canton Woods Senior Center. Ruth, if you want to come up to the mic, please.
I'd be happy to come to the mic if I could pull your little tray table over to use for
Sure.
a landing pad. Thank you.
Take the mic if you like.
Instead of standing, do you guys?
Well, whatever's convenient.
You're just going to be blocking the camera anyway,
Oh,
so.
we don't wanna do
No, I'm just looking at it, so.
So why don't we
Wherever you're comfortable.
steal this stuff? I'll do my best to be in the way.
I thought it would be easier.
You tell me when I'm out of the way. So first of all, thank you for letting me take some of your time. I know it says annual report. This is not officially the annual report. This is sort of a friendly visit update. The annual report comes just a little bit later in the year because the village's fiscal year doesn't close until March 1st or the end of February, the beginning of March. But I did want to spend a little time with you tonight. Like I said, thank you first of all for letting me come. Part of the reason I'm here is May is Older Americans Month. And that is the month where we take a chance to look at the seniors and the contributions that they've made to society. And in 1965, Congress first authorized the Older Americans Act. And from the Older Americans Act comes community-based programming, which Canton Woods is an example of that. Senior centers are community-based programs and how we serve older adults. So I just want to share a few things. This year's theme is Age My Way, and that focuses on aging in place and how older adults can plan to stay in their homes and live independently for as long as possible. And our mission statement is just that, supporting seniors remaining active members of the community. Some of you know this information, some of you don't, so I'm just going to do a little bit of an educational piece. 44 years ago, the local leaders came together and had the wisdom, foresight, and vision to understand the importance of connection and helping older adults to remain active and engaged in their community. This benefits the individual and the community, and that included the municipalities. Canton Woods and all senior centers are the point of entry for services into the Aging Services Network, and that's our function. So according to the National Council on Aging, older adults who participate in senior center programs can learn to manage and delay the onset of chronic disease and experience measurable improvement in their physical, social, spiritual, emotional, mental, and economic well-being. So the research supports that what we know anecdotally, that what we do is helpful to folks, allows them to remain in their homes longer, puts off illness, possibly postpone or avoid long-term care placement, which we know long-term care placement is not anybody's goal and also is a very expensive way to care for our older adults. So just want to share that. So out of the beginnings of Canton Woods comes the three-way agreement, which I think most of you are familiar with, but I don't know that everyone in the community is familiar with. So Canton Woods operates under a three-way municipal agreement, which includes the town of Lysander, the town of Van Buren, and the village of Baldwinsville. And under that agreement, the village of Baldwinsville owns the building and maintains the building. Staff there, paid staff, are all village employees, and the towns contribute to the operating budget. So some of you are very familiar with that. In 2022, Canton Woods' operating budget is just under $210,000. In 2012, the towns each contributed $80,000 to the center for a total of $160,000. In 2013, Onondaga County started paying for the salaries of two part-time employees at the senior center, which reduced the obligations from the towns, and that's the Beeville Express coordinator and the neighborhood advisor. So from 2013 till the current day, the contributions from the town have been $66,950,000 for a total of $133,900 from both towns. And that has remained the same for these 10 fiscal years. The other piece that keeps Canton Woods going is the 501c3 nonprofit. They have a board, which each municipality sends a rep to, and Wendy is your rep. And the 501c3 makes up the deficit from the $210,000 or thereabouts, the money from the towns, some money from the county. So whatever that deficit is, that 501c3 makes up. Sometimes the deficit is less than $5,000. Some years it might be more depending on circumstances and what happens. It has been as much as $10,000. So the board's money, which I know you all are aware of and looking at sometimes, they do have approximately $200,000. However, some of those funds are restricted, and I think you need to be aware of that, which means the money is not available for operating expenses. It's to be spent, not to be spent for operating. So the total restricted funds are approximately $40,000. The non-restricted funds, approximately $160,000. The Canton Woods Board supports the center. Recently, and Wendy's aware of this, they purchased a floor scrubber, a commercial floor scrubber. They're purchasing window treatments, and they paid for a lot of painting. So they spent about $6,000 or $7,000 on those things. So I just want you to be sort of brought up to speed on that. So as far as the operating of the center, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and we serve folks 60 and over. So if you think about the population as you probably see it, we serve people 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and above. So we're serving 4 generations of people. So when we do our programming, we have to think about the needs, interests, and what folks are looking for in 4 different generations. And we do that, and we think we do a good job of it. The other thing that you're probably aware of because you're associated with the towns is that we have a swipe card system. This was put in place in 2012 at the request of the towns, paid for by the 501c3. This helps us to know who's in the building, which is a safety piece as well, and how many folks are using the building. So we are coming back from COVID, slowly but surely. So this current year, January 1st through about May 3rd, we had 295 different people use the center, swipe their card and use the center. Those 295 people have had 3,951 visits to the center. Of those people, I know you're always wondering about this, 148 residents of the town of Van Buren, 115 residents of Lysander, and 32 people that live outside and pay a non-resident user fee. So the other element that you might not understand, be aware of, is the number doesn't include visits by people who might not have a card yet for whatever reason, that perhaps they came for a concert or some other function like that, and we haven't captured them with a card, or they might use our services but not physically come into the building. But some of the things that we do, they're consuming the service outside of the building. So looking at that, we've had 5,702 visits altogether for this year so far, and we're just to the beginning of May. Things with that you might not see, but using the building, people who might not be using the building but using the services are, for instance, coming to get the drive-up takeaway lunch, perhaps coming for the food sense program, also using the Beeville Express program where they're being served through us but they're being taken to a doctor's appointment, something like that, or out on a trip. So I hope that helps you understand that a little bit. So where are we in the comeback from pandemic? Excuse me. Looking back at 2019, which is our pre-pandemic experience, there were 495 different people who used their swipe card for a total of 23,876 visits for that year. So that gives you kind of an idea. We're hedging our way back slowly but surely. So I hope that helps. So we're considered a multi-purpose senior center. So what does this mean? This means we do both recreation and leisure, and we're what you might think of as a human service agency. So think of it as a one-stop full service for folks, the elderly people in your community, getting their needs met, the full gamut. Okay? So some of the main programs we do, the Neighborhood Advisor Program, which I talked a little bit about earlier, is now, her position is paid for by the county, but she's like a neighborhood outreach person, not a social worker technically, but someone who people can apply for help. She helps them get SNAP, which is what you might call food stamps, the Home Energy Assistance Program, information and referral. We have people who call us adult children from another state who they can't be here to day assist their parents. They might call and find out resources from our neighborhood advisor, and she can help them sort of navigate the system from across the states. And during COVID, she made wellness calls on a regular basis and received lots and lots of correspondence indicating from people how important that was to them. That Nancy called, even if they were fine, that someone was looking out for them. If they needed something, we got it to them, or we got the service that could get it to them. So those calls meant a lot to people, and like I said, we had a lot of correspondence to indicate that. The other thing we do, a big thing we do, is feeding programs. So The Peace Nutrition Senior Lunch Program happens 3 times a week. It's traditionally a congregate program, which means you're coming together for the socialization as well as the meal. There were adjustments made countywide on that throughout COVID, and it became a takeaway drive-up meal. Now you can do both. It's kind of a hybrid situation, and we're slowly seeing people come back in for lunch. Many people still prefer to take the meal and not be unmasked and eat at home. Food Sense, which I mentioned earlier, it comes to the food bank of Central New York, and I know Jason and some other people in this room have used it. It's open to anyone, any age, there's no income limit, and it's basically a food co-op where your dollars stretch further. It's a food package. We have people that use it every month, so it's $20.50 for I don't know how much money worth of food, and you're able to stretch your dollar, maximize what you might need to buy, and people really enjoy it and look forward to it and use it. A lot of people use it on a monthly basis. And last summer, we also had the opportunity to do produce boxes through Onondaga County Healthy Schools and Communities, and they partnered with one of our local farmers, and they did about a $20 worth of produce for $5 or $10 for people, and that was hugely popular, and they especially liked that it was a local farm too. And the other food thing that's coming back, yay, is our vegetable garden. We have had a garden for years. The past 2 years we did not have a garden, and now the DPW, the village DPW's prepared space, installed a new fence, and we have a team of volunteers that are ready and excited to start using the garden. Transportation is another big element that we do, and that I talked about the Beeville Express program earlier, and that position is also currently paid through the county. Beeville Express is volunteer drivers using their own vehicles to transport our older seniors or folks that for whatever reason are no longer driving to medical appointments, lab work, the senior center, and excuse me, also to the grocery store if necessary. She's currently serving 98 riders with a handful of drivers because some of the drivers backed off a little bit during COVID, and they're also slowly coming back. And 47 of those riders live in the town of Van Buren. So that's a perfect example of people that we're serving who might not actually cross the threshold of the building, but who their transportation is being coordinated through a program that's housed in our building. And then Oscar program is another service that the transportation person can refer people to, and that's the Onondaga Senior Call a Ride, and that's in conjunction with the Office for Aging and Centro. And when people call and ask about Beeville Express, the coordinator always encourages, assists them if necessary to also register for Oscar, so you have another option, you have another opportunity. If something doesn't work out, there's another way for you to get where you need to go. And Beeville Express can't transport people for procedures. So we are also fortunate that the county offers something through Highland Transportation. If you need a procedure, you're here with no family support, no one that can help you, but you need to have a companion or assistance to get back and forth, you have to go through a program, which for our folks would be Beeville Express, and she can take care of getting you a reservation with Highland Transport. If you need escort, if you need assistance, if someone has to even stay with you a little bit afterwards, it's all taken care of, but you just have to come through Beeville Express in order to do that. And Regina, who's the coordinator, recently worked with Female Charitable to help a resident out who needed a service in the Albany area, a very specific service, and together they were able to help get the costs covered for travel and hotel with the help of Female Charitable, which was wonderful. So that's sort of the big programs, but in addition to that, we have some wellness programs. We have blood pressure screening on a regular basis. We also have the medicine drop-off box as an appropriate way to get rid of your meds that you no longer need, the proper way to dispose of them. Fitness programs, some of you might have seen the cardio ball drumming, which I know PAC just posted on YouTube. If you haven't, check it out, it's very cool. Cardio ball drumming, aerobics, we offer Tai Chi, chair yoga, falls prevention. We're very fortunate to have a licensed physical therapist who volunteers to do that, and also line dances come back. And for the recreation and game piece, Wii bowling is very popular. There's 3 lanes of Wii bowling happening at a time. Any kind of card games, the pool tables, mahjong, pretty much any game you want to try or play. So, let me see, what else we want to make sure we mention. Oh, also a book club, writing group, and art class, all of which are facilitated by former teachers. The Baldwinsville teachers are very supportive of us. The retired teachers are a great resource, and they do those programs. We have a wonderful library, and also crafting and that kind of thing. Additional services that I don't want to forget to say. Legal services come to us through the county 6 times a year. Also tech support, also provided by a local teacher. And defensive driving is back, which is one thing that people called and called and called for as soon as COVID started to lift. They wanted to get that defensive driving class, get their certificate, get that little discount on the insurance, and so that's finally come back. So I know I probably said a lot, but I did want to make sure you know what's going on. I'm going to leave you all newsletters. A couple events coming up in May. We have a wellness event, which we've done in the past, and it's coming back now after COVID, where people come in, health and wellness professionals. They provide information for folks, lots of valuable information, of course, the freebie giveaways. And also our concert series is up and running for the summer. We do a concert series every summer. We get sponsorship from local merchants, and we're able to do that. We're very fortunate during COVID that we had such nice grounds because we were able to keep doing a lot of things, concerts among them. So the concert series is back. And just on a facilities point, the front porch, which some of you may know needed to be taken care of, that sidewalk got done this just ahead of the rain yesterday. And we're working with the county on the walking trail to go around the back rim of the backyard and hoping to get hard surface in there. So I know I said a lot, but just want to bring you up to speed a little bit. And I hope some of that information was helpful, useful, informative. Okay. Thank you. And
I'd like to thank you very much for coming to the board and presenting everything that goes on like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Ruth, one quick question. You said that there were 148 Van Buren residents and 115 Lysander residents?
That have a user card
A user
and
card.
that we've seen this year, that we've seen so far, January 1 till May 3rd.
So would you include village residents, either in the town, either of the towns, or is there a separate number for village residents?
We can glean that, but I didn't bring that.
Oh, okay. So, because I'm just thinking, you said 295 people, and I was just trying to do the math, so, okay.
And then there's 32 folks that pay a $25 non-user fee to come. I always say they drive by their senior center to come to our senior center, and so we're happy about that. But like I say, I hope that was helpful.
Do you have any, didn't the senior center used to have dinners that they would, fundraising dinners?
We don't really do fundraising dinners. Well, right now, we can't. I'll just leave these here. Meals on Wheels does do some dinners. We didn't find the dinners to be that profitable for us. We do a car show in August. We do a walk in September. We have a wreath sale at the holiday time. We are the benefits of a calendar sale, which Mrs. Linda Clark does for us. And actually this year, for any of you that golf, we're having our first golf tournament, and that's in September as well. So those are our major fundraisers, if that helps. So I hope some of you do golf.
Ruth, I want to thank you as well for coming and presenting. I know everyone is familiar with the senior center, but to have you go in depth of everything that that center provides our older Americans here in Van Buren and Lysander and surrounding counties is really impressive. You guys do a great job. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Well, we'll have you back for your annual report, since this was older American, but obviously it doesn't apply to anybody in this room, though, so, right?
I don't know, I'm in the first generation.
None of us are in that first generation yet, so, okay?
I got a question. Ruth, thank you for all the information. I'm curious if you had to say I'm underfunded or funded adequately to the needs of what you're serving, because your services are very wide and deep and varied, and the fact that we're serving some people outside of the area as well is awesome. But how do you feel like you're adequately funded?
How do I answer that question?
You know what the answer is.
So,
Well, the answer's always no.
so.
You know the answer is.
But still, I mean, how you feel.
Well, I will say that, as I mentioned, the monies from the towns have been capped for almost 10 years, and we have creatively risen to that challenge. I would not want to have to be challenged to do more, because as everyone's experiencing in your personal life and everywhere, we're currently in a high inflation time. Things are costing more, and I'm sure Heidi was found that out when she was doing her numbers. So, you know, we could always, more would always be helpful, less would be bad. Does that answer?
Yeah, that's exactly what it, do we see any money coming from the state at all?
Well, the monies that come from the county actually trickle down from the state, so they actually pay for 2 part-time positions at the senior center, and it comes to us through the county, but it really comes from above there. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One other question, Ruth. A while ago, the senior center used to be available for rent at night. Is that still an option?
So I watch your meetings, so I listen to what your questions are. You can rent the building, it doesn't happen that often. Donna Metz is renting it for Meals on Wheels actually on the 14th for her volunteer recognition. We just started doing it again post-COVID because we had a lot of restrictions within the facility, and so she's really the only one that's approached me so far. So the answer is yes, you can. There is a fee schedule. It's an old fee schedule. It's been in place for a long time. Some of the barriers are a staff person or a board member has to be present for the building to be open, and also there's no alcohol served there, so that eliminates some people who might be looking for a place to have a party, and people have to also provide us with insurance.
Okay.
But it is available, and the building looks great because some of what happened when we were more shut down in 2020 was new flooring, a new dividing wall. Our DPW did a lot of painting. The board is purchasing new window treatments, so the place looks great.
Okay.
And that flooring in the dividing wall was community development money. So the senior center has benefited from community development money as well. But to answer your question, you can rent it.
Okay.
It just has to work out and someone has to be available for coverage.
Okay. All right,
And
because we do
it is less
get,
expensive for residents than for someone that would come from outside the town of Lysander or Van Buren.
yeah, since the towns are already putting money into it, right. Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ruth, you said that your budget for 2022 was $210,000. What increase is that from last year's? Do you have that?
It's almost very little. I mean, so.
I'm assuming it's probably 3% based on salary increases, pretty much right around there.
Yes, well, I don't know how to express this exactly, but we know the money that we're going to get, and we make our budget accordingly, but the caveat is, if there's an overage, then the 501c3 knows that that's going to come from them. So we make as clean a budget as we can. The increases are always small.
Right.
Like you said, salary is 2.5%. Probably it does account for most of it.
Right. I mean, I know as a board, we've discussed our contributions to Canton Woods quite a bit, especially at our budget time, and there will be a time we can't commit to that because of the struggles that we have here trying to make a budget here and trying to keep our taxes low for our residents. So I don't know if we need to start being creative on these budgets, both on our side and on your side, because I know I'm speaking on behalf of the board now, but this commitment is not a guarantee every year. We will try our best to keep it in our budget, whether it's this amount or a little bit less depending on what we're going through, but it's just, we would love to help you out as much as we can, but I just want to make sure everyone is aware that this is not an annual commitment from us. We just can't do that with the struggles that we have with our budget.
So that being said, that's why I really want you all to realize that there hasn't been an increase in 10 years. And if really over time, that's almost a decrease. So I understand you all have to do your thing, but the senior centers, we've managed and got the support of our board without an increase in 10 years. So I just, stick that in the back of your mind, that we haven't come to you for an increase.
Right.
Well, and that's why I think some people are asking about fundraising and rental of the facility at night. Could that also be another revenue stream for you as well, so.
So I do want to share one thing, as long as we got back to this. The mayor has shared with me some emails that people forwarded to him recently, and this one happens to be from the town of Van Buren person, and I'm going to read it. It's a lady that lives on Peakwood Lane, and she says, I want to let you know how much I enjoy Cantonwood Senior Center. I am 90 years old and moved here 4 years ago, knowing only my family. After some time of being alone, I checked out the center. It has been a blessing to me. I have many friends and enjoy the activities. The staff is great. I attend 3 days a week. It gives me something to look forward to and gets me out of my apartment. Baldwinsville can be proud to have a place for seniors to get together and to keep us young. Thank you for listening, Betty Ball. So just want to share that with you. That's just one of the sentiments of the people, so.
Yeah, there's no guarantee or no qualms with what you bring to this community, especially for our senior population. You guys do a fantastic job there, and like I just said, it's very impressive. Have we gotten the budget from the village yet?
No, not
Because
yet.
that really will lend to what we can do or what
Yeah.
needs to happen.
No, we haven't gotten any final numbers yet from the
Okay.
budget or from the village. So.
I'm still like surprised because now it's May.
I'm
And
not sure what it is you're waiting for.
we're looking for the village's budget just to see, what they've put together or what they are going to approve for the senior center. I know that you've put something together, but was it approved by the village?
So their budget cycle isn't now. So are you looking for 2022's budget?
2021,
You're looking for how it ended up?
correct.
Okay. So I met with Mark Baker, the new treasurer, yesterday, and he's working on it. So on
Okay.
June 2nd, when the 501c3 board meets, that should be available to all the board members, and you would have it to bring
Perfect.
back here, and Bob Gerasi would have it for Lysander, and of course Ruth would have it.
Okay, that's great.
So I met with him yesterday, and he knows that I need that for June 2nd.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, last item on the agenda was this is a penciled in number 6, declare 6 highway vehicles and equipment as surplus and authorize the highway superintendent to send the items to either auction or to scrap metal. All the board members have a copy of the 6 various items. The first one is a 2006 Western Star 10-wheeler vehicle. And the second is a 1996 street sweeper. Third is a 2008 Chevy 3500 HD truck. The fourth is 2011 Ford Explorer. Fifth is a 2016 Dodge Ram 2500 pickup. And the sixth one is a Dayton tow-behind PTO generator. Any questions from the board? Can I get a motion to declare
Send 'em.
those?
Send them.
Is that a yes in first
That's
motion?
yes.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Good riddance.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Council and committee reports. Wendy?
None.
Ron?
Nope.
Howard?
Nothing?
Okay. Doug, you're always above me, and I have missed you the last couple times, so I apologize. So, do you have anything else?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. All right. Just a couple of quick comments that I had. May 14th, Assemblyman Magnarelli has a shredding event occurring at the Orange Lot at the fairgrounds from 9 a.m. to noon, Saturday, May 14th. Registration is required, so you can go to the Assemblyman's website and sign up there. Oh, okay. And then Canton Woods Health Fair Health and Wellness Fair is Wednesday, May 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. over at Canton Woods. And also, back in January, I was on Senator Mannion's town hall and talked to him afterwards about DEC from the state turning over the cost of remediation of the water chestnuts to the county. At one point, the county wanted to send that cost to the town. And so Senator Mannion was able to get into the budget another $100,000 that will actually give the county $200,000 now to help remediate the water chestnuts in Seneca River, because that's such a major point of tourism here in the area. So thank him for doing that for us. That's all of my comments. Citizens' comments. Anyone wishing to speak?
Sure, go ahead. Question on the water chestnuts. Is that a multi-year contract or one-year contract, do you remember?
I was told it was a 1 year, but then in looking at some of the other comments, it appears to be a 5 year, so I'm not sure exactly if it's a 1 year or a 5 year contract. But
I would hope 200,000 isn't 1 year. That would be crazy.
the county puts 100,000 in annually, so this is a 100,000 additional.
What happened with purchasing the harvesting machine that we discussed a couple sessions ago? I mean, did we recommend that? Did you discuss that with them at all when you were on that?
Told them that they, it was DEC that was taking care of it, and then they just didn't want to have anything to do with it. But we don't have the equipment, we don't know what's needed. So,
I'm not suggesting Van Buren get involved in that, but.
Yeah, well, the county contracts it out to an organization that manages all that.
It would seem to me that we would rather just have a machine that would just pull that up instead of putting chemicals into the river.
It's hand harvesting as well as some chemical harvesting. But instead of having only 100,000 this year at the county, you now have 200,000, which is the first time that the state has given money for this project in a number of years.
And that's all the waterways in Onondaga County, not just...
Seneca River, yep.
Okay.
It has gotten better. I mean, it seems that from where I live and the use that I get out of the river, it has gotten much better over the years. I think consistently, they got to keep doing it. We will try eradicating it as possible.
Okay.
That's it? Nothing else?
There's always more.
Okay, moving on.
Are you crazy?
Jason, any
Nothing
comments?
additional tonight.
Okay, Nadine?
Nothing.
Okay, Lynn, would you like to add anything? No. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn to the next meeting on May 18th at 7 p.m.?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you for coming.
What if I...